Welcome everyone to RiseBoro's 2020 Gala. As our Gala invitation states, we may be physically distant tonight, but we are socially united. And we're looking forward to an evening filled with inspiring stories about RiseBoro's work in our communities, important community conversations, and even a little fun on our new virtual platform tonight. But before we go any further, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Sponsors, thank you for your important recognition of RiseBoro's work in our communities. And also thank you for your important financial support that helps us do that work. So we'd like to thank the sponsors as well by noting that everyone who's attending tonight can check out our sponsor page on our event hub. There you can find out more information about each of our sponsors' businesses and how to get in contact with them if you would like. For those of you who are not sponsors, we'd urge you to become part of the RiseBoro giving community. The giving community believes that everyone, if given a fair chance, can succeed and thrive in a more just and equitable world. So if you want to contact RiseBoro and become part of the RiseBoro giving family, you can text to pledge. You can donate by hitting the donate button on this website tonight, or you can go to riseboro.org and donate there. Thank you. RiseBoro's work has a huge positive impact on thousands of people's lives every single day. Here's one such story from our youth program.
My life before 21st Century or before any RiseBoro program was actually pretty difficult because being an immigrant, it was kind of hard to find my place. But as soon as I joined the RiseBoro community, they welcomed me with open arms, and it was basically like I was with the second family. The RiseBoro programs that I've been part of are 21st Century, Ed Support, and Learn and Earn. 21st Century being through 6th and 8th grade, Ed Support being through 9th and 10th grade, and Learn and Earn 11th and 12th. 21st Century was an after-school program which just offered homework help, and they offered you trips to go on. So it was like a summer camper during school. Ed Support was strictly homework help and giving us opportunities to start on our resumes. It's strictly on academics. And Learn and Earn, I would say, is a mix of 21st Century and Ed Support. So Learn and Earn basically, they taught us life skills, how to create our resumes. They helped us with applying to colleges. So they're very career oriented. Instead of focusing on what we're doing, what the youth is doing now, it basically helps the youth to start seeing their future, even if they may not want to necessarily, but it gives the youth an idea or an example of what they should be looking to after graduating college. Because Learn and Earn, their focus is also to make sure you get to that stage. They make sure that you take that next big step in your life. So without Learn and Earn, I don't think I would have made it to the University of Virginia, which I will be attending this fall. The Learn and Earn program is important to me because of the relationships I established, not with just my friends, but with the counselors, with Alex, with Michelle, my tutors. Like, it's just a bond that you can't find anywhere else. And it's crazy how you get so close with these people in 2 years. Like, it's ridiculous. And I feel like I could go to them for anything. Even during this pandemic, we created group chats. We talk, we ask each other about our welfare, what we need. So I feel like Learn and Earn is very family oriented, and like, who wouldn't want that, especially after going to school and you're having such a long, stressful day, and then you could come to Learn and Earn in the program in the basement. You could just basically just release yourself and be yourself. So it's such a great environment. It's a great atmosphere. Learn and Earn, they have so many resources available for you, and it's just a beautiful thing, honestly.
Olu's story is just one of hundreds that RiseBoro has. Please consider becoming a monthly or annual pledger so that we can help more residents like Olu. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to present Scott Short, the CEO of RiseBoro, who's done a fantastic job leading our organization the last several years, and particularly during the last several months of this pandemic. Scott, please join us from the studio.
Thank you, John, for that warm welcome and for all the support you provide to RiseBoro as our chairman. And thank you to everyone who is joining us for our gala this year, especially all of our sponsors and donors. Earlier this year, the world started changing, and it hasn't stopped changing since. The COVID pandemic continues to cost lives and livelihoods. Climate change continues to wreak havoc on our environment, and structural racism continues to thwart our ideal of a fair and just society. Confronted by these converging crises and confounded by inconsistent political leadership, 2020 has been a year of reaction, pivoting, and reinvention. It is often felt that the odds were stacked against us, especially within the low-income communities that RiseBoro serves, which have borne the brunt of the hardship. We have faced challenges that seemed inconceivable 6 months ago. We have seen millions of jobs disappear overnight. We have seen illness prey on our most vulnerable. We have seen Black lives undervalued and disregarded. We have seen social cohesion come undone, and we have faced fear, grief, and near constant anxiety. Yes, 2020 is a year that we're all eager to put in the rearview mirror, and I will remember it as one of the hardest years of my life. But I will also remember it for giving me great hope. Despite all the challenges, despite all the uncertainty, despite the long odds, the commitment that I witnessed among the RiseBoro staff to persevere and overcome was truly inspirational. When our senior centers shut down with 24 hours notice, we cooked and delivered over 2,000 meals per day to ensure seniors could safely shelter at home. When our clients lost their jobs and could no longer afford to feed their families, we started a food pantry and marshaled donations from all over the Northeast to keep people fed. When our tenants could no longer pay their rent, we formed coalitions to raise private dollars to bridge the gap. When nursing homes became the locus of the health crisis, we provided home health aides to hundreds of frail seniors to keep them safe in their homes. When living in congregate shelter settings became too dangerous for seniors, we partnered with the city to convert underutilized buildings to permanent supportive housing. When city capital funding was slashed, we restructured our Hillside project to ensure we could still begin construction on 160 units of affordable senior housing in Inwood. When the public hospital system needed community partners to implement the city's testing and tracing initiative, we stood up a new program in a matter of days. When the Trump administration attempted to disenfranchise poor and immigrant communities by shortening the census count, we redoubled our efforts to ensure our communities were counted. When all summer youth programming was canceled, we fought back and forced the city to restore the essential camps and employment programs that give our youth the opportunity they deserve. And when our essential services were no longer safe to provide in person, we pivoted dozens of programs serving thousands of clients to remote models of care to keep people connected and supported. These are just some of the ways that the RiseBoro staff has embodied our mission this year, to unleash the potential of communities to thrive no matter the odds. This mission and its message of grit, determination, and perseverance is more important than ever. I am so proud of our RiseBoro staff who continue to rise to the challenge, as we have for over 40 years. They fill me with hope for the future, as do the stories of our clients like Olu, who you heard from earlier. Any small role we can play in empowering someone like Olu to achieve his dreams brings greater hope to the world, and that's really what our work is all about. Lastly, I am filled with hope by the support that all of you have shown by being here this evening. It will take all of us to rebuild this city and this country into the inclusive, equitable, and hopeful place it needs to be. There is a lot of healing to be done, and your presence with us tonight shows that you believe we can do it together. Thank you for being here. Now, to kick off the program, I'm thrilled to introduce our panel discussion this evening, Beyond the Ribbon Cutting. Many of you know RiseBoro as one of the foremost nonprofit affordable housing developers in the city. And while we happily cherish that reputation, there is much more to developing successful projects than just bricks and mortar. In a panel recorded earlier today, Matt Wambua, Vice Chair of Merchants Capital, moderated a discussion with RiseBoro staff on the critical services that RiseBoro provides to enhance the impact of affordable housing development. From supportive services, empowerment, and education, to seniors and meals delivery, and the staff who deliver those services. Here are some highlights from that Beyond the Ribbon Cutting panel discussion.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Kurtz. I'm in the housing department at RiseBoro, and I'm so excited to be here today with Matthew Wambua, Vice Chairman of Merchants Capital. When I was first asked to put together a panel about housing for our gala, I think the expectation was for me to facilitate a panel about trends in affordable housing, in the affordable housing industry, for our friends in the affordable housing industry. But I thought it would be much more interesting to highlight RiseBoro's unique perspective of as an organization that is both a developer and a service provider, and to provide some insight on that incredible work that's happening across RiseBoro.
Today, we're going to be hearing from a number of folks who are integral to the coordination and the delivery of services within our affordable housing community. Towards that end, we are joined by several of RiseBoro's team members who are superlative public servants, including Mirta Santana, VP of Empowerment, Christine Montañez, Director of Supportive Housing Services, Elena Zullo, VP of Education, and Sandra Christian, VP of Senior Services. Why don't we jump in, starting with you, Mirta. So Mirta, can you provide us with a one-word description that typifies your outlook or how you've been feeling over the course of the last several months?
That's hard, but if I could think of a word, it would be hopeful.
Hopeful. Excellent. Hold on. I'm going to be coming back to you. Let us move on now to Christine. What is your word?
My word is proud.
Terrific. And Elena?
I would have to say energized.
All right. Awesome. And lastly, Sandra?
Admiration.
Admiration. Terrific. Thank you all. Moving back to Mirta, can you give me an example drawn from the work that you've been doing lately as to why you're feeling hopeful?
Towards the end of April, we received a call from a group of for-profit landlords and nonprofit landlords saying, what can we do to help people stay housed? Through the assistance of many of these landlords, we have been able to keep undocumented workers housed. This is a group of people that typically does not receive any public assistance, any public benefits. And because of that, I believe in humanity, and it makes me really hopeful.
So my word is proud. My team really stepped up during a time of great uncertainty and helped to make a very lonely and stressful time at least a little less lonely and stressful for our tenants. We were able to connect them to food delivery services, refer them for Meals on Wheels, and several other options for them. And helping our tenants access all those services took a lot of coordination on the part of the Housing Social Services team and the property management teams. And basically everyone moved with the urgency and the compassion that this moment really demanded. And so that's why I would say I'm proud.
So I guess I chose the word energize because, as many of you know, when you are working with young people, you really need to show up every day with a positive energy. In the middle of April, we found out from the city that basically all of the city programs for New York City youth were not going to be funded. That was summer youth employment programs, that were summer camps. So our young people and young people throughout New York City took it upon themselves to speak at town hall meetings. But I am very proud to say that in Bushwick, we were the first youth-led and youth-organized town hall meeting. Our young people came together, they put together awesome testimonies, and they spoke to our city and our state officials, and they basically demanded what they needed and what they wanted, which was programs. Because of their work, we were able to provide summer youth employment programs for 536 young people here at RiseBoro. And in addition to that, summer camps for up to 400 young people.
Admiration. The reason I chose that is that every day since the beginning of March, I've had great admiration for all my staff. Every day, my staff came in, my cooks, my deliverers, my drivers, my custodians, and they came to work with only their mask, their gloves, and their hearts. I can give you one example. We have a client, 78, Hispanic woman who lives in our Gates Plaza Senior Center. She reached out to our case management program and she said, I need to know if I can get Meals on Wheels. They started putting the meals in immediately. She was very hesitant to talk about her mental health issues. She reported a long history of abuse. She was afraid of elevators. She had high depression, high anxiety. So the social worker built the trust and was able to refer her to our Cornell Weil psychotherapy program, and they started doing virtual psychotherapy with her. Additionally, she decided she would accept a friendly visitor from our friendly visitor program. And Carlos, who is her deliverer, said to me today, she is one of the most positive clients. She is so extremely happy and positive, and it's a pleasure to serve her. So that's how Meals on Wheels works, and it's more than the meal, it's the connections to all our services.
Let us dig in a little deeper into the work that you guys have been doing recently. Mirta, often children living in transitional housing have challenges maintaining school attendance. How has the pandemic aggravated that issue?
We realized that many of our families, either living in shelter or living in the community in overcrowded housing, did not have the proper Wi-Fi to connect to the services. They did not have the equipment, and they did not have the environment. So as we see this pandemic, their housing becomes one of these pressing needs to make sure that our children, the future of this community, are properly educated. And we at RiseBoro continue to make this priority and hope that as the school starts, that we could see more and more children receiving, poor children receiving the right type of education that they need.
Christine, on your side, can you speak about how you and RiseBoro partner with tenants to make a house a home?
Our focus is always to ensure that tenants feel at home, like they can be part of the RiseBoro family for years and decades to come. A big part of that is making sure that the services that we have in place are responsive to what matters to them. Not that we are, as experts, telling them what's best for them, but that we are including them in that conversation. We partner with our tenants to provide on-site services that are strengths-based and that match their specific individualized needs, and ultimately encourage greater independence and self-sufficiency. And those services include, by and large, ongoing case management, access to employment and education services, financial literacy, and programming focused on health and wellness.
Elena, my question to you is, what would you say is the single most important factor in contributing to a successful youth program?
What we're looking to do here, and what we've continued to do here, is really looking at the quality of these daily interactions with our young people. So what does that look like? It really is just the ability to sit with them and to listen to them, to empathize with them, to show them genuine care and concern, and to treat them as like human beings, to be able to challenge them, to meet high expectations, and to be able to support them no matter what, to have their back. So when they mess up and make bad decisions, which they do, as we all do, they know that we are here for them, no matter what.
And lastly, Sandra, in addition to the delivery of home meals, how do you support seniors in maintaining a stable and a healthy home, particularly given this COVID era?
We closed the centers on March 16th. And at that point, we knew that seniors not only are going to need food, but they're going to be socially isolated. It was very clear from the beginning. And there were a lot of losses for the staff, but also the seniors who knew they were losing their peers and leaders in their centers. So the first thing we started doing were wellness calls. Our funder, the Department for the Aging, told us to make wellness calls to every client, and every client every week. And we have thousands of clients in our membership. So we started making those calls, and as we were calling people, other things came up. They needed case assistance. They still needed to apply for benefits. They needed to recertify. And the only way we could do that was by telephone and virtually, taking pictures of their documents. We then started adding classes. So we now have 18 virtual classes going, and they range from Zumba, Tai Chi, chair exercise, to spiritual classes, music appreciation, and then topics like how to sleep better at night. And so we have these classes offered virtually, and every senior is different because some of them have phones and they know how to use a smartphone. Some of those seniors know how to use a tablet. NYCHA clients, New York City Housing Authority clients, got tablets and they got Wi-Fi, but they had to learn to use them. So our computer teachers were reaching out and teaching them how to use them. It's a lot of coordination and it's very hard to do virtually, but we've done it and we've worked with them and having great outcomes.
Thank you. Thank you all, Mirta, Christine, Elena, Sandra, for all the work that you're doing. Far too often our affordable housing community assumes that the work that we do revolves around bricks and mortar, but Those are obviously just artifices, and our community truly revolves around the collection of folks who steward the delivery of services and who bind our community together.
Thanks to Matt for moderating that great discussion, and to our RiseBoro experts who provide all those critical services after the ribbon cutting. The full discussion can be available on demand following the live event on our event platform. Next up is Maria Vieira, Vice President of Community Affairs at RiseBoro, who will announce our next segment. Maria?
Thanks, Scott. We know our communities are hurting right now. We wanted to hear from leaders in the community about how to heal the hurt. So we asked them, what has been the biggest challenge in your community, given the current health and social injustice crisis? And what is critical for solutions to the issues? We were pleased with the number of responses we received and the answers provided. Here is a highlight of those remarks.
In the aftermath of the global pandemic, thousands of families still face job, food, and housing insecurity. The racial disparities worsened as hospitals became overwhelmed, while schools and small businesses remained shuttered for months. Our biggest challenge has been accessibility, ensuring that all local residents and small business owners can receive COVID-19 testing, fresh, nutritious food, or financial assistance. Through activism and civic participation, we can propel public policy that champions racial equity and justice. You can help shape our future by 1, completing the census by September 30th, and 2, exercising your right to vote before or on November 3rd. We need fair representation and federal funding to support our recovery efforts, regardless of one's race or national origin.
I want to share with you that what I feel is the need moving forward for us to concentrate on, not only as a city, as a state, and as a nation, which is healthcare. Our communities are lacking better facilities, better clinics, better professionals. We also need to empower individuals to take preventive action when it comes to healthcare. In communities unlike ours, healthcare is seen as a priority, is seen as longevity.
I am so concerned about everything that we have lost in this pandemic. Of course, starting with the most important, the lives that we have lost. Also including the safety nets that have been eroded, the ability for children to connect with their teachers and get the education that they deserve, all the small businesses that shut down and will not reopen, among many other things that I could name. I think this pandemic has really exposed the wealth and racial gaps that have existed in the city for a long time, and we have to keep fighting. We also have to keep the faith because things do need to change, and we have to keep working together because that is the only way we're going to accomplish it. New Yorkers are tough, and this is another moment where we can show it.
What is the biggest challenge for your community?
Well, if they don't have a job, then they can't afford to get housing. If they don't have good health, then they can't work in their job. If there's no small businesses where they can get their services and goods, then they can't live in the community, and if rent goes so high, they really can't live. The food situation, since we're in a crisis, it's hard for people, and they don't have a job to buy food. And some of the crimes that are occurring are because people have no money, so to buy food or to take care of their families, so they commit crimes to feed their families and kids. It's getting harder and harder, and our people are getting disenfranchised and pushed out, so we gotta make sure that Bushwick stands tall. RiseBoro has been in the forefront in this community. Now we want to thank RiseBoro and helping us to continue to stay here. God bless them. So mi gente, presente.
The biggest challenge for our community, given the current health and social injustice crisis, is the fact that we're not hurting just in one space. Now, our entire foundation is questionable at this moment. What we need is to pay attention to all the facets of what makes a strong community. We already know that more police doesn't mean a community is safer. What makes communities safe is a high quality education, great health services, parks, transportation, an education system that is actually educating our young people. If we have all that with housing security, then we can start seeing that our community starts benefiting from it and growing. So when we come out of COVID, what we need to do is pay attention to all of it. Not just make it one issue, but make it all the issues. And once we start doing that, I really feel like we could come out a stronger community. I think RiseBoro as an organization is one of the better organizations equipped to help us out of the crisis, that they can bring it all together. So let's keep talking about bringing all of these resources to our community so that when the next pandemic hits, we don't need to continue to see our community more affected than anywhere else in the city of New York.
You know, this is one of the most incredibly difficult times that we've ever had as a city, and it really is going to take the type of organizations and infrastructure like RB that have been here in the communities, know the communities, and are there with the services that we really need. Making sure that seniors are getting fed, seniors are getting their medical services, that people are signed up for benefits, that people have legal representation when they are facing eviction. All of these things are going to be so incredibly important in the weeks and months and years ahead.
And if you ask me kind of what is the biggest thing that we're going to need to get out of it, it's simple. It's leadership. It is, men and women who are brave enough to look the issues in the face and to address them in very bold ways. And so bold leadership is what's needed to help us during this moment. And I look forward to working with RiseBoro to provide that leadership for the people of the city and for the people of the state.
Robin Hood is New York City's largest poverty-fighting philanthropy. I would say our biggest challenge is making sure that our partners like RiseBoro have the resources and support that they need to sustain the critical work that you and so many others are doing. The challenges that the pandemic have laid bare are not new. We know that they're the consequences of historical injustices against marginalized people, particularly communities of color. And we see these inequities manifest in housing and healthcare delivery systems, the education and workforce systems, and community organizations like RiseBoro are at the forefront of addressing these issues. But we also know that they're stretched incredibly thin with very few resources. And so for us to emerge stronger, funders really need to be nimble, to listen, and to be ready to stand with our community partners. Since March, Robin Hood's Relief Fund has awarded over $40 million to more than 488 organizations citywide. And we continue to partner with and learn from you and all of our community partners so that the work that you're doing on the front lines continues to transform and lead the fight for recovery.
What this pandemic has done to our communities is it has given us an opportunity to look at the way the city, New York City, has dealt with the issues around race and equity in communities of color. So what we saw was way more deaths in communities of color due to COVID. What we saw was, and what we're about to see once the moratorium on eviction and foreclosure is lifted, that the parade down to the courts will be Black and brown folks. So we know that. So at City Council, we've begun already to make sure that the services are in place to be able to help families weather that storm. Those inequities have existed prior to COVID. We've looked the other way in some instances. The city has not done or met the challenge of leveling out the inequities in our communities. And that's a serious, serious need to do. So as we look to pivot and shift, as the mayor is saying, to recovery and resiliency, at this point, we cannot go back to a city that has done business the way that it has done business and expect for communities of color to be vibrant.
Today, we are here to speak about healing the hurt. We're speaking about the pandemic that since the beginning of this year has been rampant in everyone's lives. We are here to speak about the hard work that RiseBoro has put in since the beginning of this pandemic. I am very fortunate to have you in my district. We understand that COVID has been a powerful force not only in Bushwick and Williamsburg, but the entire world. We understand that during the pandemic, other things have surfaced, such as injustices to our Black brothers and sisters. We understand that policing has been an issue in our entire city and all over the United States. Healing the hurt. How do we heal the hurt? For one, you have not lost your mission. RiseBoro has continued to provide the much needed services that everyone has needed in this district. You have been there giving out food pantries. You have been there providing home attendance for our sick when no one else wants to step up to the plate. You have been there through nursing homes. You have been present with education. You have been present throughout the entire district. And for that, I want to thank you. How do we continue? Oh, we all know we're facing uncertainties when it comes to budgets. And through this gala, we're hoping that a lot of your sponsors understand the important work that you do for all of us. Bridging those gaps that bring us together, that makes us equal. Fair housing that you provide. We are living in a time where people don't know where the next meal is going to come from. We're living in a time where they don't know if they're going back to work or they don't have jobs. Crime has come up, and this is the time for us to move forward. So when we speak about healing, the only way we heal is that we understand each other's differences and that we understand what this community needs. And RiseBoro, you do that extremely well. I want to congratulate you today for everything you've done since this pandemic and everything you've done before then for decades as your assemblywoman. I will encourage others to continue to support all of your efforts, because without organization like yours to support all of us will be an injustice to every demographic that lives in this district. So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Maria. I'm so appreciative of the community leaders who lended their voices to this important conversation. Thank you to all of the participants. We will have this segment available after the event on demand. We will now take a 5-minute break before our keynote address by New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Before our keynote address starts, I want to remind you about how you can text to pledge. It's easy. To donate by cell, just text the following to 56512. RB Pledge, space, the amount you're donating, space, and your name. We're also in the final minutes of our drawing for tonight, and you could win one of these fabulous prizes: a taste of New York nostalgia from Russ and Daughters, bagels, schmear, salmon, pickled herring, and more, or the 18 half-pound USDA signature prime beef burgers from Peter Luger, or a basket filled with 5 delectable wines and a delicious selection of treats. And if you bought your pizza kit and you made your pizza, please share that picture of it with us on social media and hashtag it RBGala 2020.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Only a few weeks remain before the deadline for the 2020 census. RiseBoro has been working diligently to make sure that every New Yorker is counted. With everything going on in the world right now, a simple head count can sound like a low priority, but the census is so much more than just a head count. On September 30th, the government will start finalizing the numbers that dictate how New York's fair share of the billions of dollars in federal funds are allocated for public education, affordable housing, public hospitals, and infrastructure, not to mention how many seats we have in Congress. New York stands to lose billions if our numbers are undercounted. Right now, the state response stands at just under 85%. There is still time to make sure you are counted and that New York gets its fair share. Completing the census takes less than 5 minutes. You can complete it online or by phone. Please go to RiseBoro's website under the 2020 Census tab to make sure that you are counted. It is important to vote, especially in the year with a presidential election. Every vote counts. Are you registered to vote? You still have time. There are only a few weeks left to register. It's easy. Just go to www.ny.gov/services/register-vote.
Welcome back, everyone. It is now my great honor to introduce the keynote speaker for our gala. She is a woman who has fought mightily for decades for New York's most vulnerable and is admired for her leadership and commitment to justice. She never backs down from bullies and roots out corruption wherever it exists, from Wall Street to the NRA to the White House. She has risen through the ranks in New York City and New York State, but never forgets her Brooklyn roots. I can't think of a stronger voice on the current state of social justice and the need for community strength. Please welcome, from her home in Brooklyn, New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 RiseBoro Community Partnership Annual Gala. I want to thank Scott Short, Chairman John Chuck, and the entire board and staff of this extraordinary organization for allowing me to join you this evening. As a citizen, public servant, and proud Brooklynite, I've witnessed up close for many years the difference you have made in the lives of countless people in need. As your gala theme proclaims, for 47 years, no matter the odds, you have stood on the front lines of human service in Brooklyn and throughout the city of New York. Franklin Roosevelt, the architect of the New Deal, lifted us out of the Great Depression. He once said that the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. In such a time as this, in the midst of the twin pandemics of COVID-19 and systemic inequality, when so many in high places are either too clueless, too selfish, or too afraid to lend a helping hand, you continue to provide for those who have too little. Meals for hungry seniors, affordable housing for struggling families, education and mentoring support for at-risk youth, home health care that brings dignity and healing to the suffering, and so much more. I don't have to tell you, we are meeting at a pivotal moment in the history of our nation. And while New York has made remarkable strides in the fight against COVID-19, like so much of the nation, we are still grappling with the unfinished business of racial division and income inequality. At the same time, our police and our justice system have reached a tipping point of distrust. The deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and so many other unarmed men and women of color at the hands of the police has lit a spark of outrage across this nation. It is also a call to action for all of us. When we look at the current calls for police reform from New York City to Portland, Oregon, it is clear that we cannot wait another minute to begin the long work of bridging the undeniable divide between the police and the public. And that is why I have called for a reevaluation of the role of police in society to ensure that there are mechanisms for public oversight, accountability, and input. The police exist to serve the public, but for too long they have existed as an entity apart, making their own rules, judging their own conduct, and keeping their decision-making hidden from public scrutiny. They have also been unfairly asked to take on roles that have little or nothing to do with preventing or solving crimes, such as conducting outreach to the homeless, responding to mental health crises, enforcing petty infractions, and patrolling our schools. Every unnecessary interaction creates the risk of something going wrong. We need formal mechanisms to provide for public input, public oversight, and public accountability. To build public trust, we must have public accountability, because COVID-19 has proven what we all know is true, and that is that when the country is faced with a crisis or threat, marginalized populations and communities of color are most at risk. And that is why your work is so important. So much of what you do is focused on closing the education and opportunity gaps that have trapped so many Black and brown communities in a never-ending cycle of poverty and hopelessness. Whether it is fair housing or equity in education or access to good-paying jobs, the RiseBoro Community Partnership is giving voice to the voiceless and empowering change. Now more than ever, it's important for all New Yorkers to follow your lead and get involved. And that means doing all we can do to make sure the most ballots in history are cast in the November election. Vote. It also means doing all we can do to make sure that we have the most complete and accurate census count in history. 10 minutes for 10 questions. Our census counts affects our representation in Congress and everything from education, hospitals, and transportation funding. If there's anything that's certain in these most uncertain times, it's that the power of change is in our hands. When people ask me what they can do to help fix all the problems we face, I say do what RiseBoro is doing. Keep the faith, and pray with your feet, and do something. And that means looking out for those who are the most vulnerable, extending a helping hand to your neighbor, an elderly relative, or those who are sheltered in place alone. If all New Yorkers follow your lead, no matter the odds, there is no doubt we will rise to meet every challenge and come out stronger on the other side. I pledge to stand with you as together we bring back a better Brooklyn and a better New York. I thank you. May God continue to bless you, and congratulations on another year of outstanding achievement and service.
Thank you so much, Tish. As always, you have a pulse on our city and state, and we value your insights and appreciate you taking the time to participate in our gala. Now I will turn it back to Sharon to kick off our next segment.
The door prize drawing is now closed and the winners will be announced shortly. Thank you again for becoming a part of our RiseBoro giving family. Every donation counts, no matter the size. You can text to pledge right from your phone. Just text the following to 56512. That's 56512. RB pledge, space, the amount you're donating, space, and your name. From the very start of the COVID-19 pandemic, our Wellness Rising Food Pop-Up Pantry, an emergency food redistribution center, has helped and continues to help local residents. Did you know that only $25 can help feed a local resident with a bag of fresh food, which includes milk, eggs, fruits, and vegetables, as well as shelf-stable items like pasta and rice? COVID-19 and the resulting social distancing measures have made delivering meals to our seniors more important than ever. Did you know that $50 can help RiseBoro staff cook, prepare, and deliver 3 nutritious meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to one of our seniors without them having to leave the safety of their homes? Join the RiseBoro Giving family and make a difference for the people who need you the most right now with a monthly donation of $25 or $50. As part of our ongoing efforts to support the health, development, and well-being of Bushwick's youth, Thaddeus Canty, RiseBoro's Next Step Program Director, who was recently featured on New York One's as the New Yorker of the Week, would like to take 24 young people on a camping trip to Campgrounds of America, where they'll get to experience community, fun, and nature. But he needs your help. For many of our youth, this experience will be the first time in their lives when they can let their guards down and fully enjoy the access to nature and open space. This year especially, they could use a breath of fresh air. Did you know that a gift of $150 covers the cost of transportation as well as room and board for one young person at Campgrounds of America in Hershey, Pennsylvania? Can you help 24 of our youth experience one of the most memorable trips of their lives? All it takes is a $150 pledge. This year, RiseBoro is projected to make over 100 new affordable apartments available for our city's most vulnerable. Many of our clients who are transitioning from shelters do not have the resources for even the most basic household essentials. Did you know that your donation of $250 can help purchase a welcome basket for a new resident, which includes curtains, bedding, cooking utensils, cleaning supplies, and other items to help her turn her new house into a home? The Brooklyn Movement Center and RiseBoro recently teamed up to lead a project that imagines a neighborhood-based food system powered by a new generation of consumer and worker-owned cooperative food enterprises. Your gift of $500 can help a local entrepreneur thrive and improve their community's access to fresh food by helping them cover the cost of their cooperative business certification, a consultant for their bookkeeping system, and their business launch event. Did you know that your gift of $500 can help provide Wi-Fi access in all of our units to ensure residents can access telehealth options and students can receive their education via online platforms? And it covers one unit for the year at about $40 a month. Did you know that our Wellness Rising Food Pop-Up Pantry, an emergency food redistribution center, has been operating twice weekly since early March? Each week, the team provides roughly 360 community members with bags of food, and we're ready to do more. Your contribution of $1,000 can help us expand our reach while also developing a more robust infrastructure that connects pop-up pantry visitors to housing support, education, home care, job placement, and other RiseBoro resources. As part of our larger long-term effort to reduce health and wealth disparities in our community. Did you know that your gift of $1,000 can help us expand our existing food pantry while developing a more robust infrastructure that connects visitors via health kiosk to housing support, education, home care, job placement, and other services as part of our larger long-term effort to reduce health and wealth disparities in our community? You can text a pledge right from your phone. Just text the following to 56512. That's 56512. RB Pledge, space, the amount you're donating, space, and your name. Have you been wondering about what the impact of your donated dollars is? Here's another story about the impact of RiseBoro's efforts to review why you're pledging.
Next Steps is a program implemented by RiseBoro, which is a transformative mentoring intervention program designed to help young people change their mindsets and do more positive things. At RiseBoro Next Steps, I am the program coordinator, so I oversee the daily operations of the program. I make sure the youth are engaged through interactive journaling curriculum and ensure that they are getting the right tools and resources from RiseBoro and other community-based organizations that will help them to succeed. Before RiseBoro, my life was uncertain because of my recent release from incarceration. And when I went to RiseBoro for a housing voucher, I met a woman named Marcia Hargrove who told me about the different opportunities that RiseBoro would have available for me if I was to get involved with them. So I started doing a lot of volunteer work with RiseBoro, and the rest, as they say, is history. When it came time for Next Steps to be implemented, they called on me, and I've been going strong ever since. What I do now is very rewarding because it's humbling when I'm able to see youth transcend from negative behaviors and mindsets to positive behaviors and mindsets and excelling not only in the workforce but in their personal lives. I'm definitely happy with RiseBoro. I've stayed put despite many different offers for me because I believe in RiseBoro's mission. They believed in me. They believed that I could thrive no matter the odds. They gave me those resources so that I was able to thrive despite the odds. And so I'm here with RiseBoro because they believed in me and I believe in them.
Thank you, Thaddeus, for the incredible work that you do. You're an inspiration to all of us at RiseBoro, and we're so fortunate to have you on our staff. So we're nearing the end of the program here, folks, and I just want to take a moment to thank you all once again for being here with us. I'm looking at the text to pledge board now, and there are a lot of texts coming in, so I want to encourage you to keep them coming. No amount is too small. You heard from Sharon all the things that your money goes to, all the great work that you can support through your pledges. I see Chris Leto's coming in. Thank you, Chris. Emily Kurtz, thank you so much, Emily. Denise Arzola's on the board. Thank you all so much, and please keep those texts coming in. The board will be open for at least 2 hours following the event, so don't be shy. Please get those texts in and support the work that you've heard about tonight. Last but not least, we have some great door prizes that we're going to give away, and I'm going to draw the names now. So first up is the Taste of New York gift basket from Russ and Daughters. And the winner is Rosika Hendricks. Congratulations, Rosika. We will reach out to you and arrange delivery of the basket. Next up is the 18 half-pound prime burger patties from Peter Luger. And the winner is Pavel Madre. Congratulations, Pavel. Enjoy those burgers. Last but not least, the Wines of the World gift basket. And the winner is Thomas Sorrentino from PKF O'Connor Davies. Congratulations, Tom. Once again, folks, thank you all so much for joining the event tonight. I miss seeing you all in person, but hopefully we'll be back together in this space next year. And I so much appreciate the support that you've given us throughout this event. Most of all, I want to say a special thank you to our sponsors and recognize them one more time. Here they are. In closing, I want to sincerely thank everyone who made this event possible and who makes our work here at RiseBoro a reality. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to the board. Thank you to all who have sponsored, pledged, purchased tickets, or who have chosen to join our giving family. Every dollar earned from this event goes to our important work of unleashing the potential of communities to thrive, no matter the odds. The road to recovery from all the challenges that lay before us will not be easy, but with dedicated partners like you, I know we can rebuild our city and our country into a more inclusive, equitable, and hopeful place. Lastly, a special thanks to the RiseBoro event team, led by Karen Bray, Lysandra Lamboy, and Kathleen Parisi and her Project Pivot team. Many sleepless nights went into pivoting this event to a remote format, and I couldn't be happier with how it all came together. There are still a few more prizes to win through our trivia and quizzes for those who want to participate for the next 10 minutes. So I'll turn it back to Sharon. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Scott, and congratulations on a great program tonight. The next 10 attendees who fill out our post-event survey will win gift cards. There will be a few trivia games and polls with prizes for the next 10 minutes. Keep pledging. In the meantime, here's a little thanks from the RiseBoro staff.
On behalf of Community Affairs, we want to say
thank you. I'm Alexandra Dyer, RiseBoro's CFO. I want to say thank you from the infrastructure team, which includes finance, IT, HR, legal, and risk management. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Hi there, I'm Karen Bray.
And I'm Ali Abbas.
We want to say thank you.
From the marketing team.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for supporting our work from the staff of Moffett Gardens Assisted Living Program.
From all of us at the Wellness Rising team,
thank you for supporting our work.
Thank you all for your support to RiseBoro and our programs.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Verónica Pacheco y yo soy del Departamento de Empowerment Home Base en Brownsville. Yo soy una case manager que trabajo con las familias que necesitan ayuda con sus hogares. Gracias.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, RiseBoro.
Thank you from RiseBoro Home Care.
Thank you for building maintenance.
Good morning. Thank you for your support at RiseBoro. Thank you for all your support for RiseBoro.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support for RiseBoro.
Hi, I'm Chrisia Cardenas, and thank you from the Seniors Division.
Education Sonic Program says thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Chantel Cunin. I'm one of the case managers here at Empowerment Division. Thank you so much for your support. Greatly appreciate it. And so does our clients who are facing homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you from Housing and Empowerment. Thank you for your support for RiseBoro. Thank you for your support of RiseBoro. Thank you for your support for RiseBoro. Thank you for your support for RiseBoro. Thank you for your support for RiseBoro.
Sending thanks from RiseBoro Housing. Thanks so much for all your support.
Thank you for your support.
Gracias a todos.
Thank you all for your support.
Marcia Hargrove, home base from the Empowerment Division. Thank you for your support. It's appreciated.
Thank you guys for all your support.
Thank you for your support.